in-home consultation.
Well, thank you, Doug Bocchini from Kohler Services, for chatting with us for this week's Home Improvement Showcase.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. We have 29 degrees. Look for a few clouds today. It'll be breezy with a high of 49. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. A crash overnight kills 1 and injures 5, including a 4-month-old.
The crash early this morning near 37th and Brown on Milwaukee's west side, taking the life of a 24-year-old woman. 3 total cars were involved, including one parked on the street. The infant was inside that vehicle and is now in the hospital in unknown condition. 4 other adults are also receiving treatment. Police have not confirmed whether or not anyone is in custody this morning. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Car crashed into a home in St. Francis overnight, trapping a woman in her bedroom. Colette Vrunke tells our news partners at TMJ4 first responders had to rescue her from a side window. Her bedroom door was crushed by the car, and a bathtub in her front bathroom likely stopped the vehicle from going further. No details about the driver or what might have caused that crash. As many as 40 dead after devastating storms pounded parts of the South and Midwest over the weekend. Most of those deaths reported in Missouri, where officials say at least a dozen were killed. The White House insists the administration did not violate a court order against the use of the Alien Enemies Act that allows the deportation of non-citizens without due process. ABC's Mary Bruce has that story.
Hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members are waking up in prison in El Salvador after the Trump administration rapidly deported them, ignoring a federal judge's directive. Video shared by El Salvador's president shows the alleged members of the Tren de Aragua gang arriving in San Salvador Saturday, just hours after a judge ordered planes carrying the men to immediately return to the U.S.
The Trump administration's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum are driving up costs. Milwaukee Business Journal editor-in-chief Timothy Gibbons tells WTMJ what one Wisconsin company is bracing for.
Bikes, boats, and bourbon is the phrase that's being tossed around. Kind of iconic American products seems to be the thrust here. So what Harvey is looking at is come April 1st, facing a 50% tariff on the motorcycles that it sells in Europe, which is its second largest market.
Harley-Davidson had about 100,000 new registered bikes in the U.S. and 25,000 in Europe last year. A $1 billion funding cut at the USDA will hurt school food programs and farmers in Wisconsin. That includes an urban hydroponics farm in Milwaukee.
You're on 31st and Capitol looking at the former A.O. Smith factories, which is now the Century City building. So it's all industrial.
Inside the business park are endless rows of lettuce greens and basil growing under magenta lights. A farm called 100 Acre. Owner Chris Corkery tells WTMJ he's determined to continue feeding the city, even without federal support.
Ultimately, this food was meant to go to kids. Food's medicine. It helps them think better. So, it's a real shame, but we want to go full circle and try to find new solutions in the wake of this.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
ABC's Rhiannon Alley reports the wholesale price of eggs has continued to drop over the last few weeks.
The average wholesale price nationwide fell to $4.15 per dozen. So let's put that in perspective. That is down about $2.70 in just 1 week. Prices were over $8 at the end of last month.
Part of the reason demand is lower, also bird flu outbreaks have decreased. Sunday morning's winter storm, short-lived but heavy. Most areas in the narrow band of snowfall from Walworth to Milwaukee County saw several inches. Greendale and Muskego saw the highest totals with over 6. But before you put away those snow shovels, Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore tells WTMJ.
Another one of those tricky setups where it looks like we're going to get rain throughout the afternoon hours on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night temperatures start to crash, and we'll see a switch from rain over to a mix and maybe to some light snow for Thursday morning. It'll be early Thursday morning.
Your complete 5-day forecast coming up in less than 5 minutes. Right now it's time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Looks like a mixed bag on Wall Street. The Dow is up 144 points, NASDAQ off just 18. S&P 500 is up 11. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:04.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you, who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now these tend to fly off the shelves. But don't worry, because our connection supplies us with a lot of them. Vintage ceiling tiles from once great old buildings in New York City that make for ultra-unique artwork. These items are definitely hard to find from anywhere else around here. So come take a look, and you'll probably find a treasure. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The field has been set for the 2025 NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. Wisconsin is the third seed in the East region after falling to Michigan in the Big Ten Final, and battles number 14 Montana in Denver on Thursday. Marquette, number 7 in the South, tips off against 10th-seeded New Mexico in Cleveland on Friday. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more. The Bucks got crushed by the Thunder, 121-105 from Fiserv. Milwaukee had a 2-game winning streak snapped and will visit the Warriors tomorrow night. And the Brewers blasted the Guardians 8-2 in spring training baseball from Phoenix. Milwaukee improves to 13-9 in exhibition play and will square off against the Padres this afternoon. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. I-43 south, about a half mile beyond the ramp from Hampton Avenue. There is some debris in the roadway. Some lanes might be closed while they try to clear that. And then I-43 north at Capitol Drive East, right shoulder there blocked due to a broken down vehicle. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Few clouds today, mild, breezy, high 49, breezy tonight with a low 38. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with highs in the 40s north, around 50 in Milwaukee. Cloudy with rain to a wintry mix possible on Wednesday, mostly in the evening. High Wednesday 54. That mix ends early Thursday, partly cloudy, breezy, back up to 40 for the high, and then partly cloudy and mild on Friday, 55. Madison 34, 34 in Green Bay, still 29 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Welcome, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm not wearing a stick of green. Hell, St. Patrick wasn't even Irish, so why do we get all worried about the details? In studio on this fine St. Patrick's Day morning is my friend from the Institute for Reforming Government, CJ Safer. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Also, no green on you either.
It's my daughter's birthday. She turns 5.
Shout out.
Vanessa, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I focus on that.
That is cool. That's always a big one. 5 years old.
It's when they start caring about birthday parties.
Right.
And it's always a little more stressful once they turn 5.
So that's a lot of fun. So happy birthday, Vanessa. All right, we're going to talk about education this hour because we got Brittany Kinzer, who's the candidate for Department of Public Instruction Superintendent. That's at 9:35. But you're going to sort of tee up this conversation. Let's start. This is for the voters out there, all the people listening who are going. First off, here's the reality. A lot of people not really focused on this race. A lot of attention on the Supreme Court race, all the ad money going there, millions of dollars. This one's sort of getting some attention. I noticed an increase in ads this weekend. So let's baseline it for people. This job, superintendent of public instruction, that department, what do they do? What do they do in Wisconsin that people can understand and identify with day to day?
The state superintendent of public instruction is a constitutional officer in the Wisconsin Constitution, elected in the spring. It runs the Department of Public Instruction. So basically, it runs the state education agency. We actually we're one of the only states in the country that has this setup where we elect a head of the DPI.
Is that a good thing?
We'll see. We'll see in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But the issue is there's not a lot of checks and balances, right? There's no board. The governor doesn't really have any oversight. The state superintendent of public instruction has a constitutional authority to oversee public instruction. So essentially, think of the DPI as like overseeing the education system in Wisconsin. Now, they can't write laws. That's the legislature and the governor. But what they can do is they interpret the laws. They're the agency that says, okay, legislature, governor, you pass laws with school choice, you pass laws with apprenticeships, you pass laws with teachers. We're now going to implement it how we see fit. And that's huge because, you can basically say the DPI has a wide range of latitude with interpreting things pertaining to teacher licensing, pertaining to things with standards, which we'll
Testing
discuss,
standards, yep.
test scores, report cards. So it's a lot of power. And they also they oversee the K-12 system. So all issues and complaints really goes right to the DPI.
If you look at the head of agencies in Wisconsin, whatever agency you want to talk about, resources to business development, all that stuff, how powerful is that superintendent position when you talk about real power impacting kids' education?
It's the most powerful agency position. It's one of the most powerful public official positions, period. They have constitutional authority that can't be taken away. They have a lot of ability to really set the vision for K-12.
Is it a one-person show, though? Can they literally make policy and just have their staff implement it?
What they have the ability to do is they can do rules. They can interpret state law. They also have some powers already on the books, right? They can withhold state aid if a school is underperforming. They have the ability under state law to really to interpret in a wide range of, hey, this is what we want the report card to look like. They can set standards, make it higher, make it lower, which we will discuss. And they can also be they have a massive bully pulpit, right? If they want to go and cast a vision for K-12 for the state of Wisconsin, they're a force to be reckoned with in the legislature and with the governor's office.
I know IRG, Institute for Reforming Government, has done polling on this. Let's take a quick break here because I want to spend some time on what your polling suggests voters actually care about when it comes to K-12. CJ Safer, the head, the CEO, what's your title over there, president? Of the Institute for Reforming Government. Always a great guest. He's been on all the programs here on WTMJ. Quick break here. We'll follow up after that.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
Tariffs are going to impact prices, and some companies are already out saying we're going to raise prices.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
The president said he was stressing the power of tariffs. Then Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is calling this a trade war.
Tune in to Wisconsin's afternoon news, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Vita Hearing Care. They've made a difference in my life. They changed my life. I can hear better now, thanks to the incredible faux neck hearing aids that I have, and you can check these bad boys out, too. There's a very cool event coming up. It's a VIP lunch and listening event. It's free. It's March 19th at Mealy Cafe in Racine over the lunch hour. It's going to be very cool, but you need to reserve your spot. It's free. Call 262-800-1060, 262-800-1060. Let them change your life at Vita Hearing Care.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak and Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are injury attorneys living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. CJ Safer, president of the Institute for Reforming Government, in studio this Monday morning. Don't forget, candidate for superintendent of Department of Public Instruction, Brittany Kinzer, will join me at 9:35 on the phone. All right, I know you've done extensive polling on this. I looked through that polling this morning. Reviewing that, not to get too into the weeds, but what do voters seem to be saying about what's important K-12?
Yeah, IRG recently conducted a poll. I think next to Charles Franklin, one of the better polls in the state of Wisconsin. We do a very thorough job diving into not just the horse race, but the why. So, we asked, who do people prefer, Brittany Kinzer or Jill Underly? Brittany, at a 2-point lead within the margin of error. Vast majority were undecided, which is not surprising. But there's a couple things that are really fascinating. First off, people are not satisfied with the direction of the K-12 schools. So last segment, we talked about, the bully pulpit, the head of the DPI, they cast a vision for education. Well, 50% of voters say that K-12 education in Wisconsin is going in the wrong direction. Only 25% said it's going in the right direction. That, I think, is why Jill Underly actually had a liberal union primary challenger just a couple months ago, because I think bipartisan disagreement with where our K-12 schools are going. And primarily that's because they see a few things. One is they see a lot of money going into schools and not a lot of results in return. 54% said no more increase in taxes to go to schools. Not to say that they don't want money spent on schools, because obviously schools cost money.
They want it spent properly.
But they want it spent properly. They're a little fed up with the results, with where we're going, how we can produce students that are ready for the workforce or for college. In Milwaukee, we asked statewide voters, what do you want to do with Milwaukee public schools? It's been in the news for the last 12 months. And almost 50%, so 46% want MPS dissolved. And that's talking about voters across the state. That's not something that the DPI will be able to do unilaterally. However, it's a sign to me that voters are, again, just really unhappy with the direction of schools. And it's why school choice is polled so popular in this poll. So when voters, as I said, Brittany was up 22% to 20% over Jill Underly. But we did some message testing when we told voters that Brittany was in favor of school choice, that her support went from 22% to 56%. A majority of people, bipartisan, supported her over Jill Underly.
I get this question a lot whenever we talk about choice and MPS and education generally. Is the goal of choice advocates to eliminate public school?
Well, the goal of IRG is to ensure that every single child has access to a high-quality education. So every child in the state of Wisconsin should be able to go to a high-quality school. And that's going to look different in different types of regions. That's, in Milwaukee, that's going to be, we have to ensure that there is really strong sectors, MPS, private voucher, public charter. Out in rural Wisconsin, we got to do dramatically more to improve our rural schools where there's just not a ton of options. So that's kind of where I see everything going when people say that they're in favor of school choice. Obviously, I can't speak for every school choice proponent in the state of Wisconsin.
This seems like an obvious question. Given the power of this position, I guess it makes sense. Does it matter who controls the Department of Public Instruction in the state of Wisconsin, given the rules that we have right now, given the laws that we have of the land and how education's set up?
So 67% of voters, we asked, like, what do you want the DPI to actually do? 67% of voters say they want a DPI to increase academic quality and increase standards. That, to me, is the massive backlash from the story in the last six months of Jill Underly watering down the test scores, watering down the standards to make it seem like more people can read, more people can do math when they really can't.
This is an opinion question, so you can not answer it or answer it. Why do you think Jill Underly, Department of Public Instruction, watered down those testing standards? What do they win by that?
So Jill Underly, to understand her is to understand the DPI. The DPI has been long captured by the teachers' unions, always. Like, I mean, as far as anyone can really remember, we have not really had an ed reformer, an outside change agent, someone to shake up the status quo. It's captured by the unions, so they kind of really are just they really focus on the progressive mindset. And I think, in my opinion, the emails that we obtained, the emails that Quinton Claiborne in our office obtained, the stories that we broke shows that the DPI was really concerned, and they really wanted people to look better than they were actually doing. I think a part of that is they wanted to buck the trend nationally and to show that, yes, Wisconsin kids are reading. We are doing actually better. And that's a philosophy. Now, when you look across the state, you have, Governor Glenn Youngkin in Virginia. He's increasing standards. He's actually saying, hey, the status quo is not acceptable. Let's increase the standards. Let's increase the cutoff scores so we can really push students to be doing as well as they possibly can. Wisconsin, we do everything backwards, and that's really what we saw in the DPI in the last 12 months.
You teed up the conversation about Milwaukee Public Schools, and there's a lot of things we could talk about. SROs, there's some news today, apparently, that this is the deadline, and we'll see what happens with that. The Judge Borowski has been very clear that he's running out of patience, and I credit him for taking that stance. Whether it's a bad audits, and we find out that there's a lot of financial problems, leadership, I should say lack thereof, school board, strong influence of the teachers union. You mentioned the term dissolve before. Voters across the state said, maybe we should dissolve it. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but what is in your mind, and you studied this, and one of your great staff, Quentin Claiborne, probably digs deeper than maybe anybody else in the state on what's going on in MPS. What's the solution here? Because I am tired of hearing these stories that we can't teach our kids. And I got in trouble, I told you this story during the break, for saying, maybe we are doing it wrong. In struggling school districts, we strip out all the cool stuff and we focus on the basics. And I know that's not great for some parents to hear, but we need these kids to graduate. And if we're not doing that, we're not getting, it doesn't matter what other classes they take. I know that's an extreme position. I'll defend it if you want me to. What is the answer for MPS in your mind?
So when you look at real standards across the country, the NAEP test scores that looks at similarly situated students in all the different cities, Milwaukee performs way behind Detroit, Houston, Miami, Chicago. Black students in Milwaukee at MPS in reading, they are outperformed by students in those cities who are black. Some of those students, special education students in those cities, outperform black students in Milwaukee. I mean, we have a reading and writing crisis in Milwaukee. So the real solutions are going to come from the classroom. How do we get better teachers? How do we get more energetic teachers into the classrooms, every single classroom? How do we get better leadership? We have a new superintendent at MPS.
Started this Saturday.
Just started. Pray for her success. But at the end of the day, look, we're electing MPS board members are up for re-election in a couple weeks. There's hardly any opponents. I mean, most of these people are running unopposed, which is almost mind-blowing given that the real trauma that's happening in the district. You have enrollment is going down. So, you kind of really get concerned for the future, not to mention right now that they can't really pass a financial audit. So back up, the state superintendent of public instruction has a lot of authority to not just withhold aid, but they can also go in and intervene on really low performing schools which could very well mean going into Milwaukee public schools. Right now, Jill Underly hasn't done that. She really hasn't shown the real need or the real concern to really go into Milwaukee and say, hey, right now we have the lowest performing school district in the entire country. And that's a crisis that really requires leadership and intervention.
CJ Safer, Institute for Reform in Government. Let's talk about it. He mentioned Jill Underly, and we're going to be talking to Brittany Kinzer at 9:35. State of the race. What CJ thinks might happen. That's all coming up next on 620 WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Midday News, bringing you the latest in news.
Charges filed for the mother of a 13-year-old who was missing in Oak Creek.
Sports.
You should want to be like Junior Bridgman. He said he is the exact model that the league should use every day.
Traffic.
So you have a crash involving 2 cars.
And weather.
Temperatures moving in the right direction here. Kind of an early week warm-up. You started to get a taste of it yesterday.
Join Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty, only on WTMJ.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser. We have a new car from Heiser. We just purchased that last summer. Love it. Chevy Trailblazer. I am driving a pre-owned because I always want to know what that experience is like for people who buy pre-owned vehicles. They have both new and pre-owned. But my Chevy Silverado is coming to the end of my ride, so I'll be getting a new vehicle pretty soon. But if you love trucks, my buddy Ken was just talking about this with me the other day. He loves the look of it. I've given him all the down low and all the great things it can do, including the great gas mileage. He asked about that. 24 city, almost 30 on the highway for a big truck. That's pretty good. All the towing capacity, all the payload, everything you need. You can go to Heiser.com. You can check out that vehicle and all their pre-owned and new vehicles when you want to. That's the great thing about the Heiser.com. All right, what else are they doing? All the great programs. I've talked about these before. Safe and Sound, Vehicle Exchange, Roadside Assistance for Life. Ask them about that. Whatever you need, pre-owned, new, body shop work, service appointments. You can all do it at Heiser.com or one of 5 great locations. That's why they say every day, today's your day.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2025. The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Lark.
I love the location, and that's the main reason Dave and I are there, is because of nature all around us. I knew when we moved in, I was leaving behind a lot of stress and responsibility. I decided now is the time to do what I want when I want to do it.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Only got a couple minutes left with my friend CJ Safer from the Institute for Reform in Government. Let's go. State of the race. Underly, Kinzer. How do you see it?
I mentioned before, status quo favors Underly, right? So Underly, it's a position that's always been held by the teachers' union picked person, Tony Evers. Now Jill Underly. She probably thinks she's winning, right? That's why she's not doing debates. She's really.
And to be fair, we have asked her campaign to have her come on the show.
She should come on. She's not doing interviews. She's really not doing a whole lot.
No.
Which I think is really sad because of the numbers we mentioned before. Look, the reality is we went through the poll and people are not happy. The majority is not happy with the direction of the school system. They want major reforms. Their majority is in favor of school choice, really going in and intervening into MPS and really trying to fix it. They want money that follows the student. I mean, we are becoming a ed reform electorate. which I think is very concerning for Underly and really makes there is a pathway for Brittany to win because I think the voters agree with her. Now, who's going to turn out in this weird
That's the big question.
spring race? It's going to be high turnout because of the state Supreme Court. But are they going to keep on voting for the state superintendent of public instruction? I don't know. They should because it's an awfully important race, and K-12 is awfully important in the state of Wisconsin.
Real quick, like 10 seconds, do you think, given the state of federal government where they're revolutionizing everything they do, will we see something like that in education in Wisconsin if Kinzer wins?
She's certainly talking about it. I think there's a really good opportunity. I mean, look, she's running as a change agent, and we just haven't had that in Wisconsin yet. So she's a unique candidate, but I think these are really interesting times in Wisconsin politics.
I think they call that opportunity for Brittany Kinzer, who will be my guest on this program in about 5 minutes or so. CJ Safer, always appreciate you.
Thank you.
Local news with Connie Weber. Before we get to any of that, here is now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. There will be a discussion between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on ending the war in Ukraine. The president confirming it to reporters on Air Force One, and the Kremlin confirming it today.
President Trump indicated that discussions around land concessions and power plants were on the negotiating table, as well as dividing up assets between the two countries.
A lot of work's been done over the weekend.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
A federal judge asking why a doctor from Lebanon with a U.S. visa was deported. That same judge ordering that doctor, a kidney specialist at Brown University, not to be removed until he could hear her case. Her cousin says customs officials deported her anyway, March 24th, next hearing. The administration transferring hundreds of suspected Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador, even after a federal judge issued an order barring those deportations. Communities left reeling after this weekend's severe storms, 40 people killed in tornadoes, winds, and wildfires. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:31. I'm Connie Weber. 3 Milwaukee Public Schools, Starnes Early Childhood Center, Fernwood Montessori, and La Follette School closed for cleaning today after the Milwaukee Health Department found significant lead hazards. 251 kids were tested at a lead screening clinic on Saturday. Deadly gunfire in Milwaukee over the weekend. A mother of 4 shot and killed her sister, hurt around 1:30 Sunday morning near 107th and Granville. Circumstances surrounding the shooting aren't clear. Police looking for the shooter. Another shooting over the weekend killed a 44-year-old shot near Holton and Center last evening. Police say they know who they're looking for in that case. The Department of Natural Resources says nearly 170 wildfires have burned over 450 acres this year, 4 times more than typical year to date. The number one cause this time of year, burning brush, leaf piles, and debris. The DNR reminds the public to check conditions before burning. Areas are especially vulnerable after the snow melts and before the vegetation starts to green up. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow up 155 at 41,643. The Nasdaq is down 29 at 17,724. S&P 500 up 15 at 5,654. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I-43 north at Capitol Drive East. We still have that disabled vehicle. It is off-ride, not blocking a lane, but blocking a shoulder. Also, I-94 east at County Road F. The right shoulder there also blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. A few clouds, mild, breezy today, high 49, clear and breezy overnight with a low 38. Cloudy tomorrow with highs in the 40s north, around 50 in Milwaukee, 60 to the south. Rain to a wintry mix possible on Wednesday after a high of 54. That wintry mix ends early Thursday, partly cloudy, breezy, high 40, partly cloudy Friday, high 55. 34 in Madison and Green Bay, still 29 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:33.
Transform your home in one weekend with paint from Menards. Get a paint that combines durability and gorgeous color. Dutch Boys Forever Interior Paint and Primer in One offers powerhouse protection with its stain-blocking, odor-reducing technology. Refresh your home today with Dutch Boy Paint. Get a gallon on sale now through March 23rd. View our entire selection of Dutch Boy Paint at Menards.com. Plus the weekly flyer and other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Looking ahead to life's next adventure? Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. Whether you're buying a home or launching your dream business, we know there's a lot on your plate. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1946, we've helped Wisconsinites like you secure, protect, and grow their version of the American dream. Our team is ready to tailor the perfect plan for you. Learn more at ansay.com. That's ANSAY.com.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam members employ more than 7,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 14th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil promotion. To date, Adam has donated over $875,000, which provided over 2.6 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
We are scheduled to be joined by Brittany Kinzer. She's a candidate for Superintendent, Department of Public Instruction, Wisconsin, running against incumbents, or current, I should say, Superintendent of Public Instruction, Jill Underly. And if you don't know the name Brittany Kinzer, because obviously this is not a race that probably gets the attention it deserves, given how much import education has in the state of Wisconsin. Kinzer is an education consultant, former special ed teacher, principal. I think she was in nonprofits for a while. Here's a quote from her that I like. And as I said, we're waiting for her to phone in. We must prioritize reading, writing, math, and science to provide the foundation for meaningful careers and bright future. I just said that like 10 minutes ago. And I realize that this is somewhat controversial because we love to package education now with all the extra stuff, all the, the things that kids love to take, some of the cooking classes, and not that that stuff's not important. I'm not saying that. But bottom line for me is that you have to have a basic core of education where kids can graduate from high school. All right, joining us on the hotline is candidate for Superintendent of Public Instruction, Brittany Kinzer. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And I just spent a half hour talking about education with my previous guest. So I'm going to just get to it real quick. So this is not a race that I guess a lot of people pay attention to. Maybe of course they should. But I want you to introduce yourself because think people need to know who you are. I gave a little bit of your background. Tell us who Brittany Kinzer is.
Brittany Kinzer. I have been in education for 25 years. I knew since I was 14 I wanted to be a special education teacher. So I started off as a special ed teacher in the classroom for 10 years in Chicago public schools, then worked at the district level for a few years. And then since then I worked in public charter schools for 10 years, and I opened up a award-winning school here in Wisconsin. And then I was a CEO of an education advocacy nonprofit group here in Milwaukee. And now I'm running an initiative called 95 Wisconsin. And 95 Wisconsin stands for the fact that we know from research that 95% of children can learn how to read well enough to go to college or have a career or get a meaningful job or master a trade if they are taught using the science of reading and phonics. However, right now, sadly, we're in a reading crisis where we only have 3 out of 10 children who are reading well enough to attend college or have a career. And in Milwaukee, we have the worst results for our Black children, with only 5% of children who are reading.
So what would you do to change that? What standards would you use? What ideas would you use to improve education in Wisconsin?
So, with my reading initiative, I wanted to spread this throughout Wisconsin. This is actually what got me into the race. because it's the one-on-one tutoring for kids who have fallen behind. We know that works. And we also know teaching phonics in the early grades is essential for our children. And when Jill Underly lowered the standards to cover up the reality of the situation, that's when I knew I needed to get in the race. So right away, I would restore our high standards because our kids deserve so much better. And then ensure that our teachers are getting the support they need to be able to teach phonics in the classrooms. Specifically for Milwaukee, I've said multiple times I will have an office here. I do not, unlike Jill Underly, I don't see DPI as just a regulatory agency. I see it as an agency that we need to be able to support and provide not just support, but transparency and accountability to ensure all children are learning how to read. So
I love the idea about moving the office to Milwaukee. What would you do with MPS? I mean, give me some thoughts.
Yeah, so right away, there is as everyone knows, there's a new superintendent. So, supporting her, but also making sure things are transparent and there's accountability there. She has asked for accountability. So I'll make sure that we have a team here who can go into the classrooms and support our teachers. We know that 30 years ago, we stopped teaching teachers how to teach phonics. We went with this whole balanced literacy approach for way too long, as we could see that our reading across our country has gone down. Our children can't read. So we know that phonics works. We need to make sure that our colleges are teaching our teachers how to teach well, and then making sure that, the teachers who are out in the field now who want our children to read are getting the support they need. So I will have a team here supporting on the ground, making sure that our teachers and school leaders are getting the support they need to ensure that our children are learning how to read. We have to, illiteracy is the true enemy here. There's all these politics and all this stuff being thrown around. We have got to get back to, we need all of our children reading so that we can have a successful
You've had some leadership positions before. Describe your leadership style. How do you approach, if you won this election, how would you approach being a leader of our education in the state of Wisconsin?
Yeah, I will put kids first. That is always what I'm talking about, and making sure that we have transparency. We have to be brutally honest about where we're at, not covering up where we're at, but where are we at with our children. So I promise there will be transparency. It'll be easy to find the information because we need the information for our schools, for our parents, our school boards. Right now, if you go to DPI's website, it's very difficult to find anything. But there are examples across the country on where they are, making sure information is readily available. So as soon as we have that information, then we can come up with a plan on very clear goals on how we're going to ensure that across Wisconsin, in MPS, in Milwaukee, that there's a clear plan to ensure that all of our children are learning and that the schools and the school boards and parents have all the information they need to make those decisions too.
Brittany Kinzer joining us on 620 WTMJ Political Power Hour. When I'm thinking about this race, I think it's close. But I'm always curious when you look at your opponent in this race, if you had a chance, and I don't believe you're doing a debate, and that would probably be scheduled already. If you did a debate, what would you say directly to Jill Underly about her work?
I would say to her, lowering the standards to cover up the reality of our situation was wrong. We should not have lowered the standards. We need to make sure we keep them high for our children and making sure that we are providing our educators with the resources and training they need to make sure we're supporting our students. It was also wrong to not be transparent with the Milwaukee voters last year when they were voting on a referendum, when she did not release the information about MPS's financial audits. She should have made sure everyone had that information so voters could have made their vote with the best information possible. So making sure that we are putting our children first and not politics. We need to make sure we're putting kids first.
You mentioned that referendum. Where do you fall on funding? Is the number that comes from the state the right number? Is it too high, too low? What do you think?
One thing that everyone in Wisconsin education agrees on is our funding system is broken and in need of an upgrade. I have traveled to, I think, 41 different counties now, and everyone has asked me to please be a leader in that. So schools are operating with limited resources, and taxpayers are tired of the referendums, right? And I hear, like I said, I hear this all the time as I travel the state. And this is not a new issue. So Wisconsin's funding formula needs to be modernized, and I can't think of one person that favors it. But former superintendents that haven't been able to work with the legislature or the governor and schools and other stakeholders to get it done, and that's how I'm different. My opponent has had 4 years to get this sorted out with the former DPI superintendent in the governor's office, and she hasn't tried. And I watched as Milwaukee leaders like Mayor Johnson and County Executive Crowley have worked across the aisle, attended meetings with Republican legislators, the governor, and all other stakeholders, and they modernized the shared revenue formula that hasn't been changed for decades. And I want to bring that collaborative spirit, dedication, and diplomacy to DPI. And I want to be in that room when those conversations about modernizing our funding formula happen. Jill Underley right now doesn't meet with the legislators. She doesn't go to the hearings, and she can't get things done if she's not meeting with everyone and being there. And I'm not running to defend the status quo. And so I want to make sure that we're able to modernize that funding formula so all of our schools can get what they need.
Brittany Kinzer, I appreciate you taking the time to meet the listeners and to answer my questions. Let's talk down the line.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, and thank you to your listeners.
Absolutely. Brittany Kinzer, candidate for Superintendent of Department of Public Instruction in April's election. All right, we're going to take a break here. Lots to get done before the end of the hour. Then, of course, Jeff Sherman's taking over, and we got the news as well. 620 WTMJ.
Broadway's smash hit, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, is coming to Milwaukee. The true story of a kid from Brooklyn, destined for something more, featuring all the songs you love, including America, Forever in Blue Jeans, and Sweet Caroline. Like Jersey Boys and Beautiful, the next musical mega hit is here. The Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, March 25th through 30th at the Marcus Center. On sale now at marcuscenter.org.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I love talking about Advent because it's a game changer, right? Changed my life, changed my sleep, made me appreciate getting a good night's sleep. If that's your question, your problems, you're not getting that, do something about it. I went to Advent 5 years ago. My nose wasn't working properly. I went for a 30-minute visit, asked all my questions. They answered all my questions. Now everyone's different problems, different solutions. They added in a really simple sleep study at home, which sort of gives them a baseline on how to start that conversation. My problem is sinuses and nasal passage, my breathing triangle, very common problem. After a short procedure done in one of their great offices, I'm back to breathing better than ever and sleeping through the whole night. Think about that for a second. No waking up, no tossing and turning, no waking up tired and exhausted. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. And find out breathing well and sleeping well for you and your bed partner. Make your nights better. Go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. I have a question for you business owners. How do your books look? Are they ready for your tax return to be prepared? Did you and your accountant talk during the year and develop a plan to minimize your tax bill? Or does this sound like you? You can never get a hold of your CPA. Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. Your books are a mess and the bank account hasn't been reconciled since last year. You don't get any advice to help you run your business. That's not the case with the Neal Group. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow. We like to work with you throughout the year to keep your books up to date so you run your business profitably. Are you ready to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net to book a meeting and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait. Do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
We know that the people of Milwaukee are hard workers, that they're tough. But even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Lane's Farm and Fleet's spring jeans sale is going on now, and we have a great selection of quality name brand denim at unbeatable prices. Right now, get a free $15 Blaine's gift card with every $50 purchase of Lee or Wrangler jeans. Men's Dickies jeans are $5 off, as low as $24.99. And while you're in for jeans, save on all Rain-X wiper blades. Buy one, get one half price. We've got the value you need to do things your way. Plains Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Thanks to my guests on the program today, C.J. Safer, Brittany Kinzer, C.J., the president of the Institute for Reform in Government, who's a great guest and a smart guy, and Brittany Kinzer, who I had not met before, and I still haven't met her. I've talked to her on the phone now, a candidate for the superintendent position, Department of Public Instruction. Look, I read that quote from her that I had read in one of her bios or on her campaign website, and this is something that I think we're going to talk about more with some educational scholars and experts. If you can't get kids to graduate, and I understand you want high school and, post-college to be, or pre-college to be fascinating and relevant and fun and interesting and all that stuff, but if you can't get the kids to understand the basic things about math and science and reading, I guess what good is the rest of it? And I know that seems harsh to some people. I got a lot of feedback on my comment I made on Spanning the State on Friday about that. Oh, my goodness. That's revolutionary. Getting rid of all the extra classes that kids can take. Like, for me, it was personal typing, which, I'll be honest, one of the best classes I ever took. 'Cause it taught me how to use all my fingers on both hands to type, with a skill I still utilize every day. But I also got the grades in all the regular classes. And I would just like to see someone in education, whether it's a superintendent of public instruction, school board members, presidents, district staff and administration, acknowledge that maybe what ails us is this idea that we have to be so diverse in our curriculum that we sort of have wandered away from what is really, really important. That's not controversial. That's just basic. And again, I'll put the carrot out there. If you do well in those classes, then you can get access to all these other classes. That's not unfair. That's rewarding kids that actually want to do the work. And I've also said this, not recently, but if some kids don't choose the basic classroom model that public education or even private education provides, then maybe it's another alternative that we need to be looking at. Everything from work camps to apprenticeships to something that develops a skill set that those young people can use to enhance their lives and have a quality of life they won't have if they don't get a high school diploma. And until someone is brave enough to do that, we're going to be talking about the same things over and over again. We're going to be railing about MPS underperforming unless somebody really wants to big and bold this thing and actually do something about it. That's not controversial. I don't even think it need a lot of courage. Set a new baseline. Start with the basics. And see what happens with the kids who are, let's be honest, going to be so important in the next generations to lead this country to whatever greatness we're going to have. Take another quick break. 620 WTMJ.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Milwaukee Weight Loss. Yes. Maybe you can see it in the stream. I lost weight, 35 pounds. Easy. 2 months, 35 pounds. You know what? 4 inches on my waist. Just got measured last week. That's a big deal. I might have to get a new belt, of all things. That's the reality I achieved by going with Milwaukee Weight Loss. They have developed an easy-to-follow weight loss program. Helps you lose weight fast and safely, naturally, with no drugs or injections, no serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, all that stuff, the gimmicks, as I like to call it. And if you don't want to, you don't even have to exercise. It helps reset your metabolism, keep the weight out for good. There's coaches that are fantastic. My coach is Emily. Their program costs up to half as much, works twice as fast as other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. Look at me. I'm a success story. You can be too. It's crazy to see your body lose that weight, but you feel great doing it. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Test Rest a Beauty Rest Black Mattress at Steinhafels for your chance to win a dream Hawaiian vacation. Shop now and save up to $400 on Beauty Rest Black mattresses. Plus, get up to $300 in Steinhafels cash. Shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Landworks. Take a look outside and imagine the yard of your dreams. What do you see out there? Thriving plant life, immaculately edged beds, beautiful, healthy blooms. I got this at my place. It's thanks to Landworks. Take the guesswork out of your green space with landscape services from a good local company, Landworks. Their personalized landscaping plans are carefully designed to make your property shine throughout the season. Plan it now. Now's the time to contact Landworks today. The teams I trust in my yard, landworkswisconsin.com.
If you're a woman looking to take control of your financial future, you are not alone. Women are leading the way in business and managing household finances, but challenges still exist. That's why Annex Wealth Management presents the Women in Wealth series every third Thursday. It'll empower you with knowledge and resources to succeed. Join us for collaborative discussions, community building, and learn about key areas of financial planning. Women in Wealth events are free every third Thursday. Sign up at annexwealth.com/events and bring a friend.
When I think of how Jesus calls the least likely, I remember Mr. Peterson. I remember him calling me when I wasn't ready, calling me when I wasn't worthy, making me ready, making me worthy.
Honoring the memory of a dedicated teacher and reflecting on God's grace and mercy for us. Hear guest speaker Dr. Jason Broggie this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got?
Oh, man.
If not
Absolutely.
himself,
I can just sit and listen to this. I could play this out.
To say the things
I don't know what it is about this song, but my attitude improves. My energy goes up. I could get out of this chair. I could go lead an education revolt in the state of Wisconsin, to go back to what I was just talking about. And thanks for the nice text, by the way. A lot of people agreeing with me. Maybe it's time to return to basics. That's my way. And why not test it out? All of this time and energy and ridiculous argument about education, when maybe, it's hard to speak over this, maybe we just need to focus.
yes, it was my way.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. News is next.
Nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest lies the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. Journey through 90 years of history in the timbered stone structure. It's gorgeous. And when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free 7 days a week. An amazing deal at an amazing place. Choice steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, even the steak and lobster, any entree, your second dinner's free. The Fox and Hounds desserts, and I love those, and huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan,